Okay. Hello. Welcome to another morning jam where I get uncomfortable to get better. Thanks for joining me. Okay, what have we been up to? Been doing a lot of stuff for the Godot game engine. We've been working on build, deploy, and release tools. Basically want to get some really useful stuff wrapped up into GitHub Actions such that anyone can hit the ground running. Think about indie devs here and how fast we want to get projects started. So I guess my dream is that you could basically pop open Godot, start a new project, prototype out one mechanic, get it to the point where you're ready to share it, test it, whatever. And then with a quick addition of a YAML file for a GitHub action, invoke a few of these tools I'm building and instantly get cool stuff like builds for every platform. That's what we've already got done. Windows, Mac, and Linux all build directly and end up uploaded as artifacts to your repository. So you can, every single time you push code, you can have it instantly built and downloadable for people on any platform, even platforms you don't have. The Mac runners are available for free if you work in the open. So you don't even need to have an Apple computer. You don't have to pay the Apple tax to build for Mac now. I'm assuming that will hold true for iOS as well. But of course, to deploy iOS stuff, you've got to have crazy signing stuff. We'll figure that all out at some point. But the builds work. And just to show you what I'm talking about, we did this in the last video. Jump over to the actions of the project that I'm working on. Got build all, is the last one that ran. So we got build for macOS, build for Linux. I need to change the way that writes itself, but Windows and Linux both get built. And here they are. Here's the Linux client, the macOS client, and the Windows client. And they're just sitting there ready to go. And that happens automatically. I don't have to build my own exports anymore. So that's cool. I still want to do web. I want to get the web build going. And of course, if we're going to build a web build on GitHub, it would be nice to auto-deploy GitHub pages with it as well. So that would be cool to have like a live version of the thing working immediately. And we will get there. What am I trying to do? Right. Next up, what we want to do. Oh, so actually, I hit a bug during the Mac build. I hit a GitHub, what I believe to be a GitHub Actions bug during the Mac build. And what I'd like to do is investigate that. I want to find out if it actually is a bug and report it, get it fixed. Because it's a little frustrating. What was the bug? The bug was, okay, so I've got this repo. I went to demonstrate the bug, basically. I threw this together the other day, a quick action. So this is an action that can just basically demonstrate that the bug exists. What I'll do, I want to clean this up a little bit. So what we have here is a do Linux and a do Mac. And they're basically the same thing. And what they're doing is demonstrating how this mechanism right here, this echo a path into this magic variable that GitHub Actions provides, GitHub path. That puts it on the path for you. So, you know, traditionally we do path, we set the path, we export things, we source things, we do all this stuff with the path in standard ways on the shell. You know, depending on the shell, they're all pretty similar. But GitHub exposes the special way of doing it. I actually don't know why that is, but I assume it ties into the orchestration with their runners in a better way than any of the number of ways you may do it, depending on the shell you have. Anyway, it works fine in Linux. So I make the local/bin directory. I put it on the path. I echo a command into a file, works.sh, inside that directory. So basically works.sh should be on the path. The command I put in there is another echo command, so it'll echo I am working. If it runs correctly, it'll echo I am working. I modify it plus executable so that works.sh can now be executed. And then I execute it with a fully qualified path, calling it deep in there, and then I execute it with the magic path. This will always work because I told it where it was. This only works if the path has been modified and this directory lands there. I do the exact same thing on Mac, and it's not easy to tell that it's the exact same thing. I mean, I guess if you yeah, I can, it like highlights, yeah, so it's identical. But I can only tell because I let my editor like show me I let my editor show me that it was identical, but it's not easily identical to the eye. So I'd like to make it really clear that we're doing the exact same thing on two platforms. The only difference is this runs online. It works when I do runs on Ubuntu latest, and it doesn't work when I do runs on macOS latest. Oh yeah, and I did 2 steps. So I've got, this is 1 step, and then I also want that path to maintain through to the next step. Like, that's pretty key that for what we're doing in the Godot build stuff is to set the path up in 1 step and then use it in a later step, so that later steps can basically, all the nastiness of the setup is just completely gone, and you can just call, a nice Godot, regardless of where the thing is. Okay, so what we doing? Okay, so the first thing I want to do is make this. I want to collapse this. There's just like this whole extra DoMac isn't needed. And why is that? Because I think we can do this with matrix strategy. So let me real quick. This already runs and demonstrates the action for me. You can see there's a red X. Okay. Right. So I run it, and look at that. The Linux one works, and the Mac one doesn't. If we look at the output of the Linux one, you can see I am working. So what is that? That's this line executing and working, and this line executing and working. So that works. Nothing bad happens. Oh yeah, and then I run it as a separate step. I am working. That's this one working. So it's still the path. The path does get set correctly, and it does persist to another step. So that's great. When we look at the macOS runner, we fail at the first one. So we get 1 I am working, and then a process exit, 127. Works.sh, command not found. Oh yeah, line 7. So that's line 7 of this little script I've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, that one fails because the path has not been modified. Oops. Okay, right, so what I want to do is, I'm going to Google GitHub Actions matrix strategy, just to get the syntax real quick. Use matrix for your jobs. Oh yeah. Yes, very good. Okay, use matrix strategy, right, so it goes inside of a job, right? All right, let's just snatch it up. Oh yeah, look, they're already kind of doing what we're doing anyway. Okay, so, all right, so I'm gonna rename the actual thing. Oh, let's just strategy matrix. Okay, we're gonna do Ubuntu latest and macOS latest. Huh? You know what? Can I just do Windows as well? Why not? Windows latest. Let's just do it on all. Let's just do it on all. I wonder if, since we're using latest on all, well, let's. Let's see if we can factor that out too. Ubuntu, macOS, Windows. So those are the strings that are the beginning part of the basic runs on strings. One sec. Okay, yeah. All right. So okay, I'm gonna change the job name to test GitHub path. We've got a strategy now. Okay, so the strategy is going to. Maybe I haven't explained it well, but when you do a matrix strategy, it basically runs the same thing 3 times, or however many times you've got variants. So I've got 3 variants, so it's going to run it 3 times, and there's going to be a variable available to me that is defined in this way. Pretty standard programming stuff. Okay, so now, since I have that variable available, I'm going to say, I'm going to change this to test GitHub path modifies path on, I think I can just do this, matrix.os. Something like that. Let me just go check and see. Yeah, dollar matrix dot thing. Yep, that'll work. And the dollar's not there. It's my bad. It's there. I think that's going to work. All right. Okay. Right. And so I can do the same thing right here. Boom. All right. So here, so this is where I cut the dash latest out of the original matrix and just put it in here. So now it's going to run on. So I get the nice matrix OS. So it says runs on Windows, Ubuntu, macOS. In the name it says that, but then in the runs on it says the thing dash latest. Great. I think now we're good, actually. So now I can probably actually delete the entire Mac action because it's going to... it's because it'll be handled by this now. I think that's it. And, you know, what's kind of cool is I wasn't even going to do this, but I just got a wild hair to throw Windows in there because it's just that easy. So, right? So, like, you can imagine this just being every single one of the runners that they have available. And this thing just tests for it. In fact, they probably test this way internally for things. Yeah, okay. All right, pop over to my GitHub, which I've got the wrong thing open. Pull up my Mac Actions book. Okay, you can see the changes I just made. I switched over to a single one. Use matrix strategy for OS. Gonna push it. We're gonna head back over. Let me really quick get my GitHub desktop over into the desktop I'm using. Yeah. All right. What happens now is we go back to Actions and see if it got picked up. See if it's going to run. Look at that. 3 jobs. Yay! Look at that. Okay, so we got failures on macOS. Sorry, on Windows, macOS. The job was canceled because Windows failed. Oh, these jobs are depending on each other in some way. Maybe. The job was canceled. Sort of feels like they both didn't work, but okay. I'm not sure. I probably botched something, but hey, guess what? That's what we're doing here is learning. Line 7, and this one is on macOS. So yeah, so macOS failed the same way that we wanted it to. Let's drop down here to Windows. Windows failed in a different way. Oh yeah. So Windows is, of course, I don't know why I thought I could just apply shell stuff to Windows shell. Windows is going to be a completely different kind of shell. The term works.sh is not recognized as a name of a commandlet, function, script file, or executable program. Check the spelling of the name, or if a path was included, verify the path is correct, and try again. I wasn't planning on digging into Windows. I don't think I'm going to, but I am curious if, I'm just going to put GitHub path on Windows. I'll say set GitHub path on Windows. Git. I didn't say Git, I said GitHub path. All right, let me just put that in quotes so DuckDuckGo will know to make it very important. GitHub path does not add to the path. Hey, look at that. That's actually what I'm experiencing. This is 3 years old. Who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. We never can tell. Here's a link. The version of GitHub Action did not work. Yeah, here's this guy doing the same thing I'm doing right now. Above code block was updated to below with the GitHub path changes. Let's see here. Is he in Windows? I can't even tell. I'm using a bash example, but on Windows, a step runs on PWSH PowerShell core. Since you're using hosted runners, bash is included. Try updating your step to run that step in bash. Shell and bash, look at that. You know what? This might even fix my problem. Who knows? So that's cool that they do include bash on Windows. Let's try that. So since that's what's up with the Windows runners, who knows? Maybe the macOS runners don't. Maybe they also aren't running bash. I mean, they're not. They're running ZSH. We would have to assume, since that's what's standard on Mac now. But ZSH and bash are very similar. So I'd be surprised if their little GitHub magic was like different. But let's just set the shell to bash and see what happens. It's right underneath the name. Yep. Is that right? Sorry, I'm getting this right. Oh, good. It's not. So it's actually in the steps. I wonder if you can set the shell at the top level. Yeah, let's try. Why not? It's so fast to try. I'll try setting the shell at that level, and we'll see what happens. And if that doesn't work, we'll set it together. So my thought is, like, if that actually fixes it for Windows, maybe that will also fix it for Mac, and then I won't report the bug, because it'd be clear that I was actually just not understanding how to use things. Okay, I think it didn't like where I put the shell thing, which is fine. Oh no, it says waiting for dependent jobs. Workflow's not valid. Yep. Unexpected value shell. Excellent. Thank you, GitHub, for that super fast feedback. Let me just... I'll set the shell here. Set the shell here. All right, so each step now is set to run inside of Bash, and we'll just see if that works. Set shell per step. Okay, and we're heading back. Mac still failed. Windows still failed. I said Windows failed because Mac failed. I wish these wouldn't be dependent. I guess we'll figure that out in a minute. Set up job. Shell then bash. What does this mean? Let me just make sure I understood shell correctly, because that why is that right there? Like that happened after everything I did, or would have happened? And is Windows more or less the same? Oh, yeah, look at that. Actually, Windows worked this time. This is Windows. Yeah, Windows. Windows did all this correctly. Oh, look at that. And their little shell thing, the way they set shell to bash is totally different. That's cool. I think this is actually the, like, environment section of the output. So this isn't actually happening after this, like it looks. Only this is in the run. And this is, like, letting me know what other things were set. And shell bash is like a shorthand for setting all this crap here. Which is great. Okay, so Windows did the same thing. Did I am working and then failed on line 7. So this worked, and this didn't. So actually, I think I may have found that both Mac and Windows have this problem. So maybe there's 2 bugs to fix. Maybe. And then again, let me just... This is crazy. This is on November 2020, and here they are doing this. I think with Windows runners, yeah. By the way, where is this? GitHub Orgs Community. I couldn't find a place to actually set these bugs, so... Oh, look at this. Where's this file? This is in just a discussion, I guess? Is THBoop a GitHub person? I don't think so. If they are not claiming it on their profile, so maybe they're just getting help from the community, which is, of course, great. Self-hosted runners, Windows 10, GitHub Path for... Yeah, well, self-hosted is going to be different. I would assume. Shell, PowerShell. Interesting. If you need to be using PowerShell, follow PowerShell example here. dump sims.exe. Doesn't work. And then always prepends it. Yeah, not really knowing. Path. Okay. I'm gonna echo the path before I can just say like that. Do a duplicate and move it down to after. Path after. So we're going to print the before and the after. Just to get some clarity about what's even going on. Okay, great. That should give us a little more insight into what's going on. Set myself a half-hour timer. Need to start stopping on these live streams. I get so caught up. Oh, that one actually didn't run this time. Huh. I think. Let's see. I think it got canceled. Yeah. Yeah, I think this one just got canceled now. It actually, they've been canceling each other, but not fast enough. Oh, look at this. Boom. Okay, the Windows path is huge. Oh my gosh. Path before, path after. Yeah, they're identical. They're identical. And how do I know that? I don't. Yeah, they're identical. So it has no effect. So we called path before, then we did the thing that they tell us to do, and then we called path after, and the two came out identical. So that is too bad. I would like to rerun. I'd like to rerun just the Mac job to make sure it finishes, but maybe if I run both these, it'll actually finish before the other one cancels at this time. Did Windows fail already? All right. I think we actually got... Yeah, macOS failed too. Good. These two are looking the same as well. So... Yeah, they're identical. So they're also not changing. So this is infuriating, right? If you follow the documentation will tell you to do this. That this is how you edit the path. And if you sort of know what you're doing, and you just sort of take that for granted to work, especially since you've gotten it to work on Ubuntu, you may go forth and assume things are working. When you're already kind of messing with a bunch of paths, you don't know exactly what they are because you're working at a distance on this, this remote shell in the cloud. This stuff's confusing. You really want this kind of thing to just work. I couldn't estimate how much time I lost, but I couldn't figure out what was going on for a long time. And this is sort of like an imposter syndrome kind of thing. Something was not working, and I blame myself. So it's bad. It's bad when there's bugs in a system and it's well documented like this, but the bugs aren't documented. It leads us to think we're bad. It leads us to think we're the ones messing up, and that's really bad for new programmers. That's really bad for people who suffer from imposter syndrome. That's really bad for people who are just doing the best they can and sort of feel like they're struggling. So we don't want these sort of needless paper cuts along the way. Okay, a couple things. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to. I don't like that they're like canceling each other. I'm gonna get them jobs canceling each other. I'm gonna get that fixed so that I get a nice clean run that cleanly shows yes before and after all this. I'm gonna do one last Google for the right answer. Maybe I may yet have missed it, and then I'm going to tighten up the error repo for demo purposes. And then I'm going to file a bug with GitHub. And I was told that I could just simply send an email to support@github.com and it will get where it's going. And I'm going to also investigate that community forum. And I'm going to do the Google thing first. And you know, actually, I may just go ahead and check here in this place. There's no breadcrumbs to get me back where this is in github/orgs/community/discussions. Okay, so I'm gonna go to discussions. So there's not like nothing is telling me what this is. Okay, github.com/community. GitHub Community is built to support all GitHub users on their educational journey via discussions. It's a resource hub, learning portal, and inspiration station all in one. Regardless of how big or small your change is, all resources and information will be accessible in a true open source fashion. Interesting. Discussions and product feedback. Okay, so this is probably the right place. Discussions and product feedback. Okay, so that's what this is. I'm just gonna search for GitHub path. I'll put $1 in there and see if it's super smart. I actually don't even need this is open thing. I'm happy to find closed answers. Set path for Wix toolset in Windows Runner. See, I mean, and this is from 2021. Oh, so how to add directory to GitHub path and create a JavaScript action automation. GitHub path does not add to path. Yep, there's the one I just saw, which actually, it's got, I mean, look at this. It says it's working, but it's so not. All right. GitHub path through bash doesn't carry over to PowerShell. That's not special. I'm surprised. Surprised it works in the first place. Recently received a pull request one way repos where an environment variable set through bash does not replicate to PowerShell. If I were to use PowerShell in the next step, if I were to use bash, would it? I don't think it would. Two different things. Here's docs how you can do it in PowerShell. It's very strange because I'm seeing a lot of people continually saying that the thing I'm seeing not works. Couldn't run binary after using GitHub path. Where's GitHub path? I stopped using the add path. Deprecate this word for me. This doesn't. Okay. Tried to use bash syntax on Windows without sending the shell to bash. Guys, I did that. GitHub. End of the path. This is strange. Oh, that's gonna be that one that I already looked at, I think. Yeah. I'm gonna keep that one around because I might want to cite it in my write-up, just to show prior art and all that. Show I've done my homework. Let me make this a little bigger for you all on stream. Deprecated it. My gosh. Okay, you know, I think this is probably where we'll open it because it seems right. Maybe I will do a support email as well. We'll see. All right. Okay. I'm gonna do this one more time. GitHub Actions. GitHub Path. Windows. Sorry, let's do macOS. macOS actually is using a shell that works with paths that way, so it really should just work. Does he do this? Is this on? What year is this? 2.5 years ago. Doesn't say anything about what they're running on. If you're using Bash shell. Guys, sorry, this doesn't work. Okay. This does not work. I like how DuckDuckGo didn't show me anything I didn't need to know. It had one hit, and it showed it to me. I'll change this to Windows. Do I get a different hit? Nope, get the same hit. Okay. Great. Okay. I feel like I've done one last Google for the right answer, and I'm still getting all these things that tell me it should work, but it really doesn't. Okay, let's do jobs canceling each other. GitHub Actions. Jobs cancel each other. Just see what happens. Just see what we get. Stop already running. Cancel other jobs. I want them not to cancel. Jobs shouldn't cancel each other. Stop already running. Canceling a workflow. Using jobs in a workflow. How to cancel existing runs. How to not cancel. How do I not cancel? Okay. And actually the same job, multiple runners, we have the fail fast option that cancels all instances of the job. Is there something similar that works across jobs in a workflow? It only seems to be possible by the API. What are we saying here? If the jobs are order dependent, you can have them depend on each other. I don't want that to happen. I want them to not depend on each other. Jobs don't depend on each other. We have 3 jobs. We don't want to lose out on parallelization. We don't want to waste resources. I do want to waste resources. I want them all to run to completion. Conditional. Gosh. Come on. Let's see if we get... I'm going to check out this fail fast option. It might be something I can use the opposite of. Strategy fail fast true. Control how they're handled. If it's set to true or its expression evaluates to true, GitHub will cancel all in progress and queued jobs in the matrix. If any job in the matrix fails, it defaults to true. Okay, that's the answer. Let's fix that. Where was that? It goes under strategy. Yep. Set that to false. Stop jobs canceling each other. That's a great thing to have. No drama there. Big thing with this future we live in with such abundance is not just throwing abundance around all the time, but saving work when we can, optimizing, caching, etc. What do we have here? Did this work? I think this worked this time. They completed with exit 127, so both Windows and Mac failed this time instead of being canceled. There's no mention of being canceled. They're gonna execute to completion. Yep. Very good. Very good. Okay, so now the question is, do I like this? Okay, let's see where we're at. I stopped the jobs canceling each other. All right, tighten up the error repo for demo purposes. Yeah, let's do that. Great. All right, so I want to make the output better. Examine the path before. I'll let the path be on its own line so I can do the comparison stuff I was doing a little easier. Examine the path after. Run fully qualified. Run by path. And then this one's going to be back here and say create a new end path for my stuff. Create a new bin path. Add to the path via GitHub magic. Via GitHub. According to GitHub docs. Let's make that. Oh, you know what? I know what I want to do. I'm gonna put these. I'm gonna do all this path examination stuff together. Okay, so we create a new bin path. Make an executable. That prints I am working when it works. Make a, I want to say make a script. Let's make the script executable. All right, so that's like the work. That's this gets us set up. Gets us a path to put bins in, to put executable scripts into, and then it puts a script into it, and then it makes it executable, and then we do all the path stuff. All right, examine the path before, we print it out, add the thing via, this is like the money shot, this is the main line that's supposed to work, and then we can examine the path afterwards. This will prove, this will like illuminate whether or not it actually got added to the path. And then to wit, this will show that it runs locally, and this will show that it runs or doesn't run by the path. And then I'm going to go ahead and just add a note to this one too. Run via path in subsequent step. This may not be anything. Like once we get it working in the first step, I think this is just totally just going to work. But this is where I originally thought the bug was, because I was originally trusting that this had worked, and then my failure was happening in a later step, and I just assumed it was step to step that wasn't happening. This is an example of the wasted time and resources that incorrect docs have, because I spent time laboring. I wrongly identified the bug. I wrongly located the bug. It took me a while to figure out what was actually going on, and these path printers were the actual key at the end of the day. Okay, make action. Let's say clean up the action. I'll go ahead and let that run so I can check it in a minute. And we need a readme.md. Reproduce GitHub path bug. little bit of prose. Let's just write it out. So as programmers, we also we don't just cut code. We also communicate and collaborate and all these things. So right now I'm putting on my communication hat. I should have hats to put on. Maybe I can have some post-processing put different hats on for me. That's a funny idea. I'm actually gonna make a note of that. Hats I wear for different roles, modalities. That'd be a cute gimmick. Okay, so anyway, the hat I'm putting on right now is the communicator. I'm gonna write some prose. This repository switching hats can be a lot sometimes. This repository demonstrates a bug in the GitHub Actions tools. According to link, I'm going to find a link in a minute, we should be able to modify our path by doing something like this. Echo my path GitHub path. However, this does not appear to work on Windows or Mac OS runners. Should I mention yeah, it's like I don't see any guidance otherwise. Yeah, so okay. What I'll do is can I link to like deep in here? Would love to link to this thing. Okay, I'm gonna actually execute the workflow myself. As a dispatch, boom, it says demonstrate bug. Beautiful. This does not appear to work on Windows or macOS runners. And as seen on this actions run. And what I'll also do, oh, you know what? I think something else I don't like as I'm looking at this is my naming here. This looks silly. Like you can't tell what these are. You got to drill down here to see what's even. You still can't read it. It's too long. It's too long. Just always if there's this old writing and public speaking rule of always consider the audience. It's one of the things that I sort of can't help but do. And here we are. So I'm just going to say use GitHub path on Matrix OS. Is that what I want to do? Will that fit there? Yeah, it'll just say Windows, Linux, whatever right here. You know what? Put this here. Oop, that doesn't look good. I'll put this in quotes. We'll do that. Yeah, I'm gonna hold the README for a sec because I'm not ready for it. Cleaner job names. I want to be really obvious what you're looking at when you're looking at that. Okay. Great. Does not appear to work. Okay. The action YAML file is cleanly written and documented to demonstrate the bug. And where will that be? Oops, that will be, let me just go and dig down to the file here so I can link to it correctly. Demonstrate bug. Okay. Thank you for taking a look. All right, I need this link according to this. Okay, so that's a documentation link. And, you know, the documentation is where this kind of begins and ends, right? Creating a composite action. Adding a system path. See, we're in these docs. We're just in using workflows, workflow commands for GitHub Actions. It doesn't say anything about Ubuntu. You would think this is where it would. Actions communicate with runner machines. Runner to standard out, runner debug. Can't overwrite the value of default env vars, right? Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, this is it. Oh yeah, and look at this. I mean, I even copied this from them, right? Like, this example demonstrates how to add the user home.local/bin directory to path. There it is. Is mine any different? I'm using tilde here. Why am I using tilde here? There was a reason, but I don't remember what it was. Is that the only place? No, I'm using that everywhere. It works fine with Ubuntu. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's just double check ourselves. Follow the docs direct perfectly. Tilde to $home. Just to make sure. Because you never ever know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Same problem. Just to be clear. I think I will stick with it, though. It still works on Ubuntu, so I still feel good. I'm going to stick with it. Bins are the same. Bins are the same. So, yeah, so I'll stick with it. I'm going to dispatch the workflow again myself. Oh, I never checked if my prettier names look prettier, but we'll do that now. Yeah, Ubuntu, macOS, Linux. Just like that, folks. Much prettier. Demonstrate bug. I'm going to copy that path. Switch back over to there where I am going to change the run I linked to that most recent one. Very good. Okay, I've got... Okay, adding a system path. Boom. No mention of runners, no nothing, right? And what page am I even under? Workflow commands for GitHub Actions. It doesn't... You know, this is great. It doesn't mention anything about runners. This is where you would think you'd find it. Okay. Okay. According to this documentation page, we should be able to modify our path by doing something like this. However, it does not appear to work on Windows and macOS or macOS runners. Okay, there's my half-hour warning, so I think we should just file this bug and be done for the day. I think that's what we'll do. And it's been written to document the bug. Okay, I'm feeling pretty good. Let's... add README. For those of you who are knowledgeable of GitHub, you know that a README can be written in Markdown and it comes out all formatted nicely. Reproduce GitHub path bug. Okay. How does this look and feel? This repository demonstrates a bug in the GitHub Actions tools. According to this documentation page, we should be able to modify our path by doing something like this. However, this does not appear to work on Windows or macOS runners, as seen on this actions run. The action YAML file is cleanly written and documented to demonstrate the bug. All right, let's just see. Does this go to the documentation page? Yes, it does. Does this go to the actions run I care about? It does. Still want to go any deeper. Mac OS. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to go ahead and just make a note that in the actions output, I've also echoed the path in before and after the GitHub path implication. For easy inspection. The path is clearly modified on Ubuntu and not on Mac OS or Windows. It does use the shell bash property for all steps. It does, right? Shell bash, yep. folks, that's about all there is to it. More README. Okay, so now we have a repository. I'm going to say I've tightened up the error repo for demo purposes. Now it's time to file a bug with GitHub. This is the moment, folks. This is where the imposter syndrome hits the fan or something. Let me just make sure. Was my actions run right? I did have that right? Yeah. All right, I'm pretty happy with this. Copy my repo. Let's head over to that new place we found. New discussion. All right. Select a discussion category. Actions. Yeah. Okay. This is where stuff goes. Beautiful. GitHub path not working on Mac OS or Windows. Question, product feedback, bug. I think it's a bug. I think I'm filing a bug. We're gonna find out. You know, the internet can be a scary place. The way that we know people respond to things and sort of treat your mistakes as part of your identity and things like that. That's not at all healthy. But it's just sort of the nature of things, and I'm not sure what the lesson should be, but something along the lines of have a thick skin, get a thick skin. Our therapist said something recently about don't let the blows land. Like, just because someone says something really messed up doesn't mean you have to even hear it. So this is a chance to practice those kinds of skills. Anyway, just a note that the responses I get to this may be less than friendly, and it's not really important at all. It's important that I remain friendly. It's important that I remember that when someone else is being unfriendly, that is their problem, not my problem. And to have, honestly, I mean, empathy is great, but sympathy for those people. They are the one, that negativity that's leaking out on you is coming from them. I feel sad for people who have that negativity as a default baseline. It doesn't have to be me who takes on the negativity. Okay, with that little soapbox preamble in line, let's write up a quick discussion. Hey folks, I'm having a hard time getting updating the path on my non-Linux runners. The documentation says to use the GitHub path style and does not differentiate between runner OSes, which leads me to believe that the same mechanism should work on all runners, with the important caveat that we set shell bash, particularly on Windows runners, which default to PowerShell. Quick preview of how I'm doing. Hey folks, having a hard time updating the path on my non-Linux runners. Documentation says to use GitHub path style and does not differentiate between runner OSs, which leads me to believe that the same mechanism should work on all runners, with the important caveat that we set shell bash, particularly on Windows runners, which default to PowerShell. Great, I should close my paren. Change that to note. one important caveat is that we set at the risk of repeating myself, I'm going to copy my documentation link here to just to be clear. The documentation says, make sure that works. Yep, looking good. Again, I'm worried about the audio, so I want to make sure everything comes out really tight on my end. I'm sitting here trying to save people time by getting a bug fix that's a time waster, so I may as well not waste people's time in the actual reporting of the bug. I've created a reproduction repository. To demonstrate how the same action works fine on Linux, but fails on macOS, Windows. Let's take a look. That will auto link. Yep. Auto link, Mac Actions bug. Not exactly. It was Mac only, but ended up being Windows as well, which is pretty cool. Maybe, possibly. All right. Okay. I love this. Please be welcoming and open-minded. It's good. I'm here. I'm on it. I'm here for it. Okay. Let's add a wave. Actually, you know what? How do I set my emoji color? Ooh. Having a hard time updating the path on my non-Linux runners. Hoping someone can help. Documentation documentation says to use that style. Does not differentiate between runner OSes, which leads me to believe that the same mechanism should work on all runners. And I'll just add some nice open-ended questions at the end. Am I doing something wrong? Am I missing some documentation somewhere? Any help is appreciated. I think we're good here. I have done a search for similar discussions. I have, actually. But I'm gonna just let you do it for me. Yep, no discussions. Nothing comes up for that. All right, folks, I think I've done all I can do. I'm gonna start the discussion. Please check this box in order to proceed. Yes, I did it. Very nice. Boom. Okay, I'll keep this open. Well, I'm subscribed to it. I'll get emails if people respond. Very nice. Head back over to discussions. Look at that. I'm up top, unanswered. Come on in, somebody. Come on in and help me out. All right. I'm gonna close things up. We're done here. Let me look at my notes. I could tell you what. I'm not gonna email their support. I feel like I found a good place regardless. I will post this other places. I've file a bug on GitHub Community Discussions. And I didn't even know that existed, so that's nice. Wait for responses. What did we learn today? Learnings today. I learned about shell, bash. I learned about matrix. I learned about strategy matrix for OS. For runner OSes. That was really cool. I think I didn't learn. Oh yeah, I learned about fail fast. Learned about fail fast equals false. And oh, I learned about the GitHub discussions. Yeah, that's great. I mean, what the heck? Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, so what? We've been streaming for an hour and 7 minutes, and I learned these 4 things. Got tuned up my knowledge of GitHub Actions, which is becoming a larger and larger part of my day job and my hobbies. Automation is just great. I do know that we'll eventually want to break away from GitHub. The lock-in is not nice, but I know there's lots of easy ways to do that, and they've got it open, so we'll eventually play with that stuff. But for now, we are focused on Godot, and I took Godot build, deploy, and release tools. We took this little side quest today because that's another part of this, is we want to make things easier. What do they say? We want to leave the campsite cleaner than we found it, and filing bugs as you come across them is a big part of that. It's easier than ever to do open source. You kind of just stumble over it. You can make a repository and file a bug in no time. So yeah, I'm proud of what we did today. I'm proud of where we got. I'm proud that we have at least raised our hand and asked the world to take note of a potential bug. And even if I don't, there's enough information in that repository that even if I never participate again on this bug, people can easily investigate it, get their head around it, see what I did. I worked in the open. I even made this live stream. If people wanted to go and audit my intentions the whole time, that would be available to them. I don't want to say this is all new to me. I've been doing open source for quite a while, but it is new to do it. I guess we're doing it more open all the time. I guess we're exposing more of our workflow, exposing more of ourselves. And it is nice, I think. Yeah, thanks for joining me for this morning jam. Again, this is where I get uncomfortable to get better. And I'm going to start doing these learnings at the end of every one. Let's call it today's takeaways. I like that. And this was 1219. Maybe I'll make a separate file for that, etc. But yeah, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining me for this morning jam. Thanks for learning with me, hopefully. And I look forward to seeing you again. Have a great day.